Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Frangie Show. Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva, Frank Frangie continuing his vacation up in Pittsburgh. And JJ, boy, he saw something special out of Paul Skeens last night.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't have to watch his beloved get destroyed and lose. It didn't look great in the first inning, but yeah, great outing by Skeens.
That kid's 4-0 now. I mean, it's really impressive what he's doing. So glad that Frank got to see him, and should be a lot of fun. We'll look forward to hearing how it went when Frank rejoins us on Monday. So, JJ, NBA Finals, not much there, but give us some thoughts.
Yeah, the Celtics pull it out, I guess. I expected Dallas to play a little bit better, but the Celtics just have a better roster from 1 to 6. We all knew that coming in. I wasn't surprised who actually ended up winning. I don't know, there was a couple better games. We had, I guess, 2 and 3 were fun, if I'm remembering correctly. 4 a blowout, last night a blowout. But yeah, I knew Luka wasn't going to be enough. You know, you basically had to have Luka score 30 points a game, Kyrie score 30 points a game. Kyrie was terrible in most games. So, yeah, Boston did it without their best player really having to do much the entire series.
Kyrie might have been terrible, but he's like a son to me now because I survived the Loser Monday. JJ LaSelva taking his first loss.
Yeah, Kristaps. The Kristaps injury killed me,
that was
obviously.
A killer. Yeah, you were in good shape until that happened. And he tried to give it a go last night, 12 minutes, but not much impact. So we all have one loss. So how about that? So I'll go Monday and you'll go Tuesday or something like that. And again, lucky Frank Frangie will come back from vacation and have Bono's barbecue brought to him 2 days when he returns. But what I thought about it in terms of looking at like the legacy of it, there's not a lot to break down from the game. I mean, they were up 21 at half and sort of went on cruise control. And Kyrie Irving was terrible in Boston. He was 18 of 53 from the floor in the 3 games played in Boston. So obviously he was atrocious. The crowd really got to him. He was gracious at the end. I don't know if you watched to the end, but he checked out with maybe like 2 minutes and basically went down the line of Boston, their bench, just to, kind of give some early congratulations to guys that he used to play with. But yeah, he was atrocious. My thought on it is, Boston, obviously they were 16-3 in the playoffs, which is a fantastic run. They were the best team in the regular season. But it feels to me like they were a team that just sort of took advantage of kind of a down year for the league. And while Brown is very deserving of Finals MVP and Tatum played well, to me it was more like I don't think that they would stack up well against other world champions, but they might have the greatest role player team that I've seen. I mean, they just had guys 3 through 8 that contributed. They even have, Peyton Pritchard, who's throwing in half-court shots at the buzzer, and Breen was fantastic. He was like, he loves that spot, and then releases the ball, and it goes through. And, I mean, it just seemed like Boston had a glue guy for everything in basketball that you would want a glue guy for.
Yeah, shout out to their owners for spending the money and, realizing they don't have everything to win. They needed to bring Kristaps in. They needed to trade for Drew Holiday. They need to keep Jaylen Brown and Tatum together, even though everybody was telling them they couldn't do that. The media for years has been saying these guys should probably go somewhere else. They can't pay Jaylen Brown and still win. Well, guess what? They did. And Jaylen Brown was the best player in this series by far. He was probably the best player for them in the entire playoffs. Maybe the best player in the playoffs, if you're not counting Luka and Jokic. But yeah, I feel you. I think they also had an extremely easy road.
Yeah.
The East is not the West. And yeah, the East was I don't know if the league was down. I don't know if I agree with you with that. But the East certainly is. The East was a joke. And even the teams they had to play, their star players seemed to be hurt every single round. I would have loved to see Denver. Obviously, they blew a 20-point lead, in the quarter in the semifinals. The Western Conference, which was insane, and then Minnesota didn't have any juice after that. They lost. I don't think the best team out of the West, I don't even think like one of the best 3 teams out of the West really made it out, which is crazy. But, hey, you got to beat who's in front of you. They did. Title number 18. Congratulations.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and there's a lot of great stories in there, one of which has a local flair, which is Al Horford, who obviously was a major part of the Gators winning back-to-back titles many years ago. 38 years old. I mean, he wasn't along for the ride. He had 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals last night.
And he was there for, like, before he came back, he was part of those Celtics teams that, when Brown and Tatum were just getting into the league. So he's been a part of this Celtics thing, going for a while. I think they have the best regular season record in the last 6 years. So obviously it helps that they're in the East. But that's still something really special, and it's big for these guys to finally get that title. I mean, you saw how much it meant for Tatum last night. I mean, imagine if they didn't win this series, the crap that Tatum would get. He didn't play particularly well. Jaylen Brown, clearly the best player in the series, but the best player last night was Jason Tatum. He did everything they needed him to do to win. He was finally going to the basket, had some huge and-one finishes. Of course, he still has to take like the clock's counting down, let me take my step-back 3 that's never gone in the history of me playing basketball. I wish he would get that out of his game. But, yeah, you don't have to be, considered one of the top 3, top 5 best players, which everyone on ESPN and elsewhere, that's sort of like, oh, if Jason Tatum's not that, then it's a failure. Why can't he just be a pretty damn good player? And it showed that that's all they needed. They have, like you said, 1 through 6, insanely better than everybody else in the league. You look at Dallas, after their first 2, they had nothing this series. It was really tough to watch, just guys dribbling around aimlessly, praying that somebody could get open to make a 3, and it just never really came about except for Game 4. So I don't think Dallas is done. They'll be back. They'll have this whole team back together again next season to play a full year together. Most of these guys came in at the trade deadline. So Dallas, they'll be back. Denver will certainly be back. And I expect the Celtics to probably make it out of the East again next year.
Yeah, I was looking at way too early power rankings, and they had the Celtics. This was on ESPN. They had the Celtics 1 and in Denver 2, which seems like that's going to be the collision course for next season.
As long as Jokic stays Jokic, which the same guy has been for the last 5 years, which we all expect, they'll be there.
Yeah, I would think so. The Magic, by the way, were 11th, so it'll be interesting to see if
they have a lot of cap space.
Yeah, they can keep.
Allegedly,
climbing.
They're going to be bringing in a few big names this summer.
Yeah. So that would be good. And again, just looking back on it, it's interesting because I think you can take something from the Celtics and apply it to the Jaguars, this year's version of the Jaguars. Like, if the Jaguars are going to have this incredible season that, where they make, a deep playoff push, I think it's going to have to come from the fact that they're similar to Boston in this. They don't necessarily have guys that you would say, well, he's the best in the league at what he does. They've got some good players. We went through the top 5 yesterday that, kind of bouncing back and forth. And, again, regardless of your order, it was Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, and Evan Ingram. But, again, as we get through this, it's the depth of the team. It's the fact that I can tell you right now that these guys aren't in my 16. Mitch Morse, Devin Lloyd, Andre Sisco, Darnell Savage, Antonio Johnson, Devin Duvernay, like, those guys aren't going to be expected to have those kind of years where you look and they're one of the top 15 players on this roster. But they could certainly be that. A lot of these guys are still really getting into the prime of their career, or just really starting their careers. And, that's what I think is so interesting about the Jaguars this year. I don't think the top tier of the roster compares all that favorably to the real stacked contenders in the AFC. And you look at a team like San Francisco who, has unbelievable star wattage, but then it's how good are you from 10 to 25. Now, if your megastars play like megastars, it may not matter, but a lot of times you need the glue guys. You need the guys that buy into a role and can possibly elevate. So I'm really intrigued to see if we can draw any parallels, 6 months from now, 7 months from now, because the Celtics to me were a unique story. Most of the times it seems like in the NBA, when you win the championship, you've got, without a doubt, one of the 3 to 5 best players in the NBA. And would you say Boston has that with Tatum or Brown?
No. Tatum to me is right on the fringe of he's maybe at the back end of the top 10. But yeah, it's different for a team that doesn't have one of those guys to win an NBA title.
And that's where I think it's going to be interesting to see again how this Jaguars team progresses through. Because I do think that 1 through 25, when you look at it, and again, this isn't counting rookies, but 1 through 25, they have built, I think, a really good core of talent. It's just can they get, how many of these 25 can ascend to becoming elite at their position? Certainly Josh Allen is there. If he needs to do it again this year, but what he showed last year is that he certainly can do it. We believe Trevor Lawrence can do it. Christian Kirk, we believe, can do it if he can stay healthy. I think you can say ETN can do it, and Evan Ingram can do it. But then what gets really interesting is, what if Trayvon Walker has that huge year? Or what if Tyson Campbell has that huge year? A guy like Oluwakin is so solid. He's not necessarily a megastar, but he just is a good, smart football player. And then you've got a guy like Armstead that's coming in that you just don't know. It's hard to predict free agents. Sometimes even really good free agents get to a team and they struggle in year 1. And then in year 2, it gets better. Sometimes they struggle the whole time, and it's just not a good signing. But, sometimes it takes them a year. Will Armstead be that guy, or will he be somebody that comes in and immediately delivers that kind of impact? So, again, just in looking at it, I thought it was really interesting just looking at Boston, how they're constructed, the savviness of the moves that Brad Stevens made and Danny Ainge before him. Because, again, who are some of the best, when you think role players in the NBA on championship teams? I think Bad Boy Pistons, because you had Isaiah is the superstar, but you had guys like Vinnie Johnson and Mahorn and Sally and guys that weren't necessarily top tier level players, but they had a role and they bought in.
Yeah, the Lakers had Ron Artest,
right, and
Derek
Robert Horry.
Fisher, and yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, so you need that, but but it seems like usually it's we have somebody that we have 1 or 2 guys that they don't have an answer for, and if we get something from our supplemental players, great, but we're not leaning on that. Whereas Boston was constructed in a really unique way, and I think it's cool. I think it's good for, and with basketball, that's the one sport where that's really not the goal. I would say the goal in basketball is what the strategy behind the super teams that we saw, going back to LeBron and Wade and Bosh.
Yeah, if you're going to try to look at Boston's, how they won this title, if you're a GM for another NBA team, it's a fool's errand to try to mirror that.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen a lot. You're not going to be able to. Also, most teams aren't going to have an owner who doesn't really care too much about going over the salary cap to sign some of these guys. Kristaps makes $30 million a year. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are about to both make over that. This is not some cheap team that was just built together like the A's from Moneyball or something. But yeah, in the NBA, you're going to want to tank your ass off to get the number 1 overall pick and hope that it's a superstar, or find a guy in the lottery who is a superstar, and that's how you win, and you build him around him.
Well, and is that why you think that maybe we're not seeing, today the conversation is, it seems like nationally, are these Celtics one of the worst championship teams that we've seen, which again isn't really fair to them. They're the world champions.
And they had such an insane run.
And they had such an
they
insane
lost
run.
3 or what, 4
Yeah, they were
games
16
in
and
the
3.
playoffs.
Yeah, they were dominant in the regular season. I mean, we talked about it.
I feel bad for them
Yeah,
because I do agree with that sentiment. That
I do too.
Lately, they're out of all the teams that have probably won in the last 20 years, they're one of the weakest. But they had one of the most dominant playoff runs that I've seen too.
Yeah, this was something that Frank was talking about, a couple months ago before the playoffs even began. It was like, do you see what the Celtics are doing? Because remember, we were looking at it, and they were 60 games into the season, and their average result was winning by like 10.5 points. That was their average
they lost
night.
like 3 regular season games at home all year. It took them like months into the season before they lost a home game, just destroying everybody.
How good do you think Joe Mazzulla is? Do you think he was just along for the ride on this, or do you think
I think
there's
that
something
he's
to
gotten
him?
a lot better between this season and last season. I mean, he did some stuff that you just be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Call a timeout. There was a lot of times in this series where he made a mistake and instantly corrected himself. Like with guys he was playing. Here's a perfect example. Last night they had Kristaps out there, and originally, like in the first quarter, they were just going at him every single time when he was on defense, and it was easy. They were hitting, I think they hit a couple threes, and like they totally turned the game around, and he instantly corrected that, got him out of there. But sometimes he's been playing small ball, realized it hasn't worked, he switches up. But last year he was rough. It was obviously so obvious that it was his first season coaching, and but yeah, I think in the NBA, I don't know how much the coach really has to do too much, especially when like the entire roster's already been built for this guy. Ime Udoka was just there, got into like some trouble and left. Like they were already in the finals in 2022 before he got there. So I don't know how much credit I'm going to give to Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's low, but I will say
he didn't screw it up.
To me, in the NBA, your role as a head coach, which is what made Phil Jackson so great at it, it wasn't assembling talent. Phil Jackson walked into 2 unbelievable situations. He had Jordan in Chicago, and he had Kobe and Shaq in L.A. But it seems like at the NBA level, maybe this is coaching in general, but it certainly seems to be in the NBA because you just have fewer players. It's basically like, can you create some basically harmony? Like you're almost the X's and O's are great. Like Eric Spoelstra is great with the X's and O's.
That's the assistants anyways.
Yeah, but
especially on the Celtics.
Yeah, and so it just feels like to see Boston even before last night. I mean, obviously when you win the title, everybody's going to say how much they love each other, but it really did seem like a consistent theme. Like they did a great job of connecting.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, and
especially when you have 2 guys who are competing to be the alpha of the team.
Right.
Like, that's always very tricky. We saw when Kyrie was there, he wanted to be that guy so bad. It never worked out. He was injured all the time. He's even apologized this week for how he acted when he was in Boston.
Yeah.
So, like, to not have that drama seep into this team whatsoever is a lot has to be said for that.
Well, and it was interesting, too, because Jason Kidd after Game 1 says, well, Jalen Brown's the best player on their team, which we kind of thought was sort of
mind games.
Yeah, trying to, which I get. He was outmanned. So, I mean, it made sense because I still can't tell you the Mavericks player that I had for Loser Monday.
He was great last night, Derek Jones.
Well, yeah, he scored 10, which was, I think, a career high. But I mean, it was clearly a 2-man team.
Yeah.
And, it was.
So he just wanted to be like, hey, Tatum,
right,
jack up 40 shots next game.
Exactly.
Prove that you're the best player.
Start pressing.
He never really did that.
And create that wedge. Well, what made the Celtics team so strong is in the next game, it's Holiday that's the star.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like they were like, okay, well, it won't be Tatum or Brown. They're going to show how close they are as a team because it's going to be Holiday's night. And it just was really interesting to me. I don't know how often we'll see it because I don't get the sense. I get that the Celtics everybody's going to say they're the favorites going into next year. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they didn't win it all next year, would you?
No. They're the favorites because their path is a lot easier. In the East, basically you have Giannis and the Bucks. I don't think the Heat are real. They always have some. they're like the bogey team for the Celtics every once in a while. I get that, but they wouldn't scare me, especially with how the Celtics dismantled them this year. I guess like the Knicks had a good run.
Yeah.
But they definitely wouldn't scare me if I'm the Celtics.
Right.
Indiana, like,
is
no,
there anything
none of these teams scare me?
I apologize. This may be like getting way too in the weeds. But are there supposed to be any? You talked about Orlando and they've got money. Are we expecting anything seismic this offseason that might tilt that balance?
No.
It doesn't feel that way.
No.
I mean, it sort of feels like everything's kind of settled.
Yeah, even LeBron going to a different team, he wouldn't have that huge of an impact as it would be a few years ago, 5 years ago. Even though he's still great, still made All-NBA, but yeah, he's not winning a title on his own anymore.
Yeah.
But if he goes to I've heard places like Dallas, like that would be a game changer. Adding him to something already built. But in the East, no, I don't see that. The thing is, they have an easy road, so you have to make them the betting favorite, even though you might think they're the fourth best team. You might have 3 teams in the West that you think are better, but they're all going to be beating up on each other. That's why I just wish they would do the SEC route and get rid of divisions.
Yeah. If you're the Mavericks and you get LeBron, how does that change them in your opinion?
Oh, it makes them so much better. I mean, we saw what happened when Kyrie wasn't scoring. We saw what happened when Luka got in foul trouble or when Luka's, in his feelings. They needed someone else. And LeBron at the same time would be the alpha of that team. And he, being an old man now, needs somebody else to take the pressure off him. And that would just be perfect for him to be able to give the ball to Luka for 50% of the game, Here, Kyrie, just take it and do something. Give me a rest. Like that, to me, for him, would be a perfect place to go. But I think he'll stay in L.A.
Now, would LeBron start over the guy that I still don't know on my team
I
that
don't
plays
know.
for
Derrick
the
Jones has a ring now, so he's a champion.
No doubt about it. By the way, College World Series, Florida State's up 7-5 on North Carolina in the 6th. The Noles are at bat with the lead, so we'll see how that goes. Florida's already been rained out. They were supposed to play at 7 tonight, but they're now going to have to play a doubleheader tomorrow. First game at 11, so that will be interesting to see how the Gators react to that. We're actually going to talk some College World Series coming out of our first break. We're going to be joined by Nick Delatorre, who covers the Gators for Gators Online on 3 Sports and has a fantastic Gators podcast, Stadium and Gale. So we'll get his thoughts. Nick is up in Omaha, and we'll see, does this weather delay help or hurt the Gators? That's next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show
from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Jags. Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. One-on-one interviews with players, practice footage, podcasts, and more. If you're looking for the best Big Cat coverage around, look no further. 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Every season is Chevy truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet, and there's no better time to do what you do best than a Chevy Silverado. Now at Nimnick, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado, or well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 models. And with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. It all starts with a Chevy truck. Remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar on your trade. So shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership located at the corner of Park Street and Cassett. You want a great truck? Then you want a Silverado from Nimnick. That's Nimnick Chevrolet. Visit them today. Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue at Park. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111. 1111.
Prosser here. As you may or may not know by now, I did the research and decided to go with Jack's Concrete Coatings for my garage floor. OMG, as the kids would say. I can't begin to tell you how good it looks, how happy we are. We brag on it anytime someone walks in the garage. They had the job finished in one day with a lifetime warranty. That's right. As the certified Pintech dealer for North Florida, the only company offering pure polyurea, I can't wait to do my patio deck next. Call 862-2000. That's the number, 862-2000, or jacksconcretecoatings.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our returning champion, a basketball court sweat mopper from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Lewis Cramp.
Great to be back, Merv.
There's only one category left on the board, Lewis. People you can trust to repair your air conditioner. Your 10 seconds starts now.
Well, I'm pretty handy with tools around. Right, so my Uncle Steve used to fix transmissions, so maybe he could... Okay, sorry. I guess just call the guys at Bueller?
That's right, Lewis. The highly trained technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing have the tools and the experience to service any make and model of home air conditioner to make sure that you are cool.
You sure I can't just have a quick...
Yeah, we're done for today.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
International soccer returns this summer. Don't miss Premier League clubs Wolves and West Ham in Jacksonville for the Stateside Cup, July 27th at Everbank Stadium. Tickets as low as $35 at statesidecup.com.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
There are so many ways you can catch me, Mia O'Brien.
Helmets and Heels.
Weekdays, noon to 2.
And on 1010XL's video and social channels. All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
It's Mo Time with Mo Bryan.
On 1010XL. Cooking with Prisco.
These things are wonderful. You're going to love it. Have a rolling.
Oh. Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
Smooth sailing and a smooth taste of Vida de Luis, an all-natural tequila made with volcanic spring water and aerated to provide a smoother finish. Go to VidaDeLuis.com and set a course for smooth living today.
Clearwater. John, I can't even mow my side yard. It's so soggy. Man, my builder sucks.
Brent, calm down. This is a common problem in neighborhoods where houses are built too close together. You need gutters and a properly installed French drain that will soak up subsurface water. We can completely dry it up.
So I can take my builder off my speed dial now, huh?
Yeah, we got you, buddy. Let that builder bitterness go.
Clearwater irrigation and drainage too.
Ryan and Angela Wall here with Window World. You've heard us talk about it. Window World, the #1 window replacement company in the USA, selling over 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years.
That's a lot of satisfied customers, and why J.D. Powers has awarded Window World Best in Customer Satisfaction 3 out of 4 years.
Window World stands behind their slogan, simply the best for less. With Window World, you get top quality windows at a price that leaves more of your money in your bank account, and you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement industry. When compared to our competition, there is none. See for yourself. Call the competition. Get quotes from them. But before you buy, get Window World's free estimate and compare the quality of the windows and the price.
You'll see.
And when your new Window World windows are installed and they're saving you money on your energy bills, if anything goes wrong with those windows, Window World and I will be there to make it right. That's my guarantee.
Call Window World today. Start saving money on your new windows and your energy bills, and take vacation with your savings. Window World, online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. JJ LaSelva, I am Hays Carlyon. Frank Frangie is enjoying his vacation, and we are pleased to be joined with Nick Delatorre, who does such a fantastic job covering the Gators. Gators Online, on 3 Sports, and the Stadium and Gale podcast. Just does a tremendous job. Nick, how you doing up in Omaha?
Doing well. I think maybe we brought the Florida weather with us. So.
Yes. So does this help Florida that the game's postponed?
I mean, if you're Florida and you lose your opening game and you have to pitch or find a way to win 4 games in 4 days, that means a lot of pitchers need to step up. So anytime you can get an extra day off, an extra day of rest, especially from Brandon Neely, who almost throws every game for Florida now. I think it could help Florida, but it also everyone when you get to this point of the season, it doesn't mind a game of rest when you're 68 plus games into a year.
How do you think they match up in this game?
Yeah, well, they played not too long ago in May, and I think there's familiarity on both sides, so probably saves both coaching staffs time on the scouting report. When I go back and I looked at that Florida-Kentucky series, Florida really gave away Game 1. Game 2, Saturday, was the one game they won, and it was probably the most complete game Florida has played all season. A great start from Liam Peterson, 3 home runs, a 2-homer day from Luke Heyman, and then again losing an extra inning game on Sunday kind of gave it away again. I think Florida matches up well with Kentucky, but the Cats are hot. It's probably the best season of Kentucky baseball. The first trip ever to Omaha, so it will be a difficult game, but Florida has a chance for sure.
You hear that Kentucky does unorthodox things. Can you give us a scouting report on the Wildcats and what makes them unique?
Yeah, they're an old school baseball team. Kevin O'Sullivan and probably 12 of the other coaches in the SEC think that power pitching and power hitting will win you the league, and it's tough to get those kind of players. You're not going to get many Jack Caglione or Tommy White from LSU. You're not going to get many of those players to Kentucky. So Nick Mingione has decided we're going to play small ball. We're going to bunt, hit and run, steal bases. I think Kentucky has more successful stolen bases than Florida has attempts. So they're kind of an old school baseball team, but they recruit to that identity and they play to it. So it's almost like if you're the old Georgia Tech in the ACC, everyone would have to play that triple option offense
right.
One time a year, and it would throw you off. It's definitely a different look when you're in the SEC when Kentucky comes to town.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How, in your opinion, how did Florida turn this season around from having the 27 losses in the regular season to now being one of, I guess they'll end the day-to-day, one of 5 teams left that have a chance at the national title? Florida State, North Carolina is going on right now at 7-5 Knowles.
Yeah, they had to find a way to replace Wyatt Langford, BT Riopelle, Josh Rivera, Hurston Waldrop, Brandon Sproat. That's not an easy task. I thought in the fall, man, they might have gotten enough freshman arms, and you kind of had a chance to through that first month of the season, kind of see when things start to click for the freshmen. But the biggest issue Florida had is they would just not throw strikes. I think it's going to be the highest walks per 9 of any Kevin O'Sullivan team. So walking guys, they play fine defense. They can hit. They strike out a lot, but they hit the ball really far. It was just mainly the consistency and not playing winning baseball consistently, not being able to maintain momentum. They lost the season opener, then won 5 in a row, and then did not win more than 2 games in a row until making that run in the regional and then super regional. So it's been kind of a frustrating team. Kevin O'Sullivan's been frustrated. Almost, throwing his hands up in the air in the middle of the year, being like, I don't know what to do. But I think they're playing better now. They're getting great performances from their superstars, Jack Caglione and Brandon Neely. And then you're getting great stories like an Ashton Wilson, Frank Menendez, a freshman, and some of those younger players who have turned a corner are giving you really quality innings and quality at-bats.
Do you think moving forward, like looking beyond this run, that this almost was an ideal situation for Sully in the sense that you had a 27-loss regular season, so certainly there's going to be a lot to learn about how they approached the portal and everything else, yet you had this unbelievable postseason, which is going to make this season an incredibly successful one. Do you get what I'm saying? Does it almost help moving forward as he continues to construct the roster to learn the lessons of what led to the rough regular season? Can you weigh in on that if you can?
I think it probably makes him appreciate this team more. You know, they've gotten to Omaha so many times under Kevin O'Sullivan, 9 times now. He's won 9 consecutive super regionals. And sometimes they get in and they've already won 50 games. And you know, you're expected to win and you have a target on your back. I think it's probably the first time they've ever been in Omaha as an underdog. The transfer portal was new, and Florida was kind of late to adapt to it because the blueprint of getting elite high school pitching, elite high school talent, and developing that was there. And they were having so much success with that. You don't know if you bring a couple guys in through the transfer portal, what does that do to your freshmen? Does that hurt your high school recruiting? Does it not work in the clubhouse? And I think BT Riopel was probably the player 3 years ago now, that really sold Kevin O'Sullivan on it, as well as you're seeing a lineup like Kentucky's. They have 9 graduate seniors. They're an older lineup, and we're seeing older and older lineups. This will be the last year that we have graduate transfers, the COVID seniors, COVID super seniors for baseball in the transfer portal. So it'll be interesting to see how teams construct their lineup. But something Scott Strickland told me about football and baseball, he says you kind of have to get old and stay old to have success. And you're not really seeing teams filled with freshmen and sophomore being their main contributors having success. But they will be attacking the transfer portal, Hayes. They will be attacking the transfer portal this offseason. They've already gotten 3 guys, including one from JU up there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Nick Delatorre joining us does a fantastic job. Gators Online, On 3 Sports, and the Stadium and Gale podcast. Nick, you mentioned Cags. Do you think Kentucky pitches to him? Because memory serves, they didn't really want to have much to do with him in the regular season.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I know Florida fans boo. And listen, he's been. I was talking to the great Pat Dooley, because his Florida baseball knowledge predates mine. And Pat said, Jack, I think we gave each other our 4 players, and the only player we had in common was Jack Caglione. So I think we're watching one of, if not the most talented and best baseball players. And if I am one of the last 5 teams playing in Omaha, I'm not going to let him beat me. I will walk him intentionally and let somebody else do it. Now, me as a writer and any fan in orange and blue will boo that because he is so fun to watch hit. But, yeah, Kentucky walked Jack a ton. I just looked it up. I think they intentionally walked him 8 times in 3 games.
Wow.
Or he walked 8 times and intentionally walked him 6 of those 8. It's a smart decision. And I think there was a series back in Arkansas where Jack came up with runners on first and second in less than 2 outs. And Dave Van Horn, he had a 3-run home run, and Dave Van Horn said, I thought about walking the bases loaded to not have to pitch to him. He goes, and maybe I should have. That's just kind of the hitter Jack is. One mistake can turn into 500 feet.
So, Nick, how do you think, what can Neely give them tomorrow, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think he's thrown 65, I think, around there pitches through 2 innings or two outings here in Omaha. I said that I think he would have been on the card, and what I mean by on the card is if a pitcher is available, they're on the lineup card. If you're not available, they just won't put your name on the card, let you know, hey, you're not pitching today. I think Neely would have been on the card had Florida and Kentucky played tonight. I think he's on the card again tomorrow. And if you need 6 outs, if your season is on the line and you're up 1-2 runs with 6 outs left, I can't imagine Florida putting anyone else other than 22 on the mound.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Nick, I really appreciate it. I want to ask you one football thing before we let you go. It seems like all of a sudden the football team has some momentum, at least in-house, that they seem pretty confident, obviously, we're a month away from SEC football media days. What's the sense that you have for this Florida team that, Vegas still doesn't really like? The wins over under is still incredibly low to the point where they wouldn't be bowl eligible again. But what's sort of your opinion on where the Gators football program is? Can they play spoiler at all, in your opinion, this season?
Yeah, well, some of that is like what I just said. Get old and stay old. There's something to be said for Graham Mertz coming back. He will turn 24 in October, which I guess we're getting used to, but we can maybe stop getting used to it after the COVID years are done. All the jokes Florida fans made about Jordan Travis last year are going to come full circle
right
this year. But you have a quarterback who is a veteran, will be playing in the second year of the offense. I think Florida's running back room, losing Trevor Etienne, I think that was more of a hit to the perception of the program than it will be to the production. I think Montrell Johnson's great. He's going to go over 3,000 career yards this year. I think he did a really good job in the transfer portal at receiver. You have a deep tight end room, and you completely overhauled the defense. It's Billy Napier's best roster that he's had. Now, granted, you are playing possibly the hardest schedule in the country, maybe not even possibly, probably. So it might not matter. And I think when you look at that Florida schedule after the second bye week from Georgia on, it's Georgia at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. I think I'm forgetting one in there, but it's a brutal end of the schedule, and this is a team that hasn't finished season strong. It's also a team that hasn't played well on the road. I think Billy Napier needs to go up to Tennessee, go up to Knoxville, and win that game. So it's a really tough schedule, but I almost feel like I'm parroting what they're saying inside the building, but I do believe it, that this is Florida's most talented roster in their last 3 years.
Great stuff. Nick, I can't thank you enough for your time. We really appreciate it. Again, Nick Delatorre, you can see his work, Gators Online and On3 Sports, and also subscribe to the Stadium and Gale podcast. Nick, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, and be safe getting home.
You got it. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Yeah. Nick is actually going to get us into our next topic, because we're going to talk a little super seniors when it comes to the upcoming college football season. The Athletic did something interesting, and I want to get into that. You are listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Every day is a perfect day for football on Jacksonville's football station. Just lock your radio on 1010XL to get your year-round football fix. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
How nice would it be not to worry about your AC unit for 10 years? What? Bonds Heating and Air, standing by their units for 10 years. Imagine not having to think about your AC unit for a decade. Bonds 10-year warranty covers the parts, labor, and refrigerant. Basically everything. No fictional problems that will cost thousands. This is legit. An AC unit with no repair costs. Wouldn't that be nice? So remember, if your AC unit won't turn on, just call Bonds. That's Bonds Heating and Air.
This is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. We've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here, and it's changing the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. I love the roulette. It's so much fun. It is so easy, and you can't find it anywhere that's better than MyBookie. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Don't miss out on the revamped MyBookie Casino. Use promo code 1010XL. Don't forget that. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open-air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for the Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
If you've played sports or still lead an active life, chances are joint pain is nothing new. This is Dr. George Barry of Barry Orthopedics, and we like to be your option when it comes to taking care of your body and getting back in the game. From shoulders to elbows to hip and knee pain, Barry Orthopedics can diagnose and treat a variety of injuries that are causing you pain. We are Barry Orthopedics and online at barryorthopedics.com. With more than 30 years of experience, our team is here to care for your entire family.
Find out more at barryorthopedics.com. That's BAHRI orthopedics.com.
Now those sound like some well-oiled machines. If you're a business owner that uses tons of fuel, you need B&B. If you're in charge of a job site that uses tons of fuel, once again, you need B&B. B&B Oil and Fuel has the fuel you need and will deliver straight to your site or office. Top-notch products and service delivered with B&B Oil and Fuel. Job sites, boats, generators, nothing but the best fuel with B&B Oil and Fuel. Online at bb-oil.com. Only the best with B&B Oil and Fuel.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
The Nimnicks are great people. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank is on vacation up in Pittsburgh. JJ LaSelva, I am Hays Carlyon, holding down the fort. So, JJ, what do you think of the super seniors? Nick made a good point. It's running out, but we still are going to have them in college football one more year.
Does Cam Ward, is he in that? Like, what is a super senior?
So he is not on the list. So The Athletic did something brilliant. It's Stuart Mandel and Max Olson, and they put together the their all-star team, which they phrase the, wait, they're still playing college football team? And these guys are all super seniors. The captain of the team is Cam Rising, the Utah quarterback, who
Cam Rising.
Yeah, who obviously he missed last year. This is what's crazy about Cam Rising. So he was in Tom Herman's first full recruiting class at Texas.
Does he even have a job anywhere anymore? Like
Cam Rising or
no,
Tom
Herman?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure. I think isn't he at?
He is.
I think he's at like
FAU.
a small school. Yeah,
FAU.
Yeah. I thought he was in state at a.
God, I remember
one.
when he was the next thing.
Yeah, the next big thing, and so Cam Rising, who Florida fans are obviously
and so this is because of
familiar
COVID?
with. Yeah, it's because of COVID. Rising could actually, because of a technicality, he
could play
actually could play next year. But
Miami has a tight end who's on like year 11 or something like that,
and he's on this list as well. But it was interesting. So it's fantastically clever because you just don't think of college football as a sport where 24-year-olds are playing it. Now we're gonna merge this into a conversation later in the segment. But it was interesting just sort of going through these guys. Like Dylan Gabriel is on the list, who obviously went from UCF to Oklahoma, and he's now at Oregon. KJ Jefferson is on the list, who won in the Swamp last year, quarterbacking Arkansas. Will go back to the Swamp this year because he went to UCF. So KJ Jefferson, whose first season of college football was in 2019, is still playing, and we'll see what he can do for UCF. I mean, I think it was a good get for UCF. I think KJ Jefferson, certainly.
Yeah, he was rumored to a lot of big schools.
Yeah,
Miami was in on him. I mean, he's much more of a running quarterback.
Yeah,
so what we were looking for. But yeah, that's big for UCF.
Yeah, so and Cam Ward's not on it, so he must be a little younger. But Graham Mertz is on it. Graham Mertz, first season of college football, 2019, and this is the little paragraph that they give in explaining it. They say, this October will mark 7 years since the top 100 recruit filled Wisconsin fans with euphoria, becoming that program's highest-rated quarterback commit ever. Unfortunately, his 4-year career in Madison was filled with more mediocrity than glory, but given a fresh start in Gainesville, he improved dramatically last year, 72.9% passing, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Mertz is back for what will likely be his 5th consecutive season as a college starter. So interesting to see, and I think Graham Mertz is going to play well. What do you think about Mertz?
Yeah, I thought he played well last year. I don't think he was great. I think his numbers are better than like what I watched every weekend. Like they weren't asking him to do much. We all saw that. But for what they do ask him to do, he's perfect. I, as a Miami fan, am very worried about a guy who is that age, who's seen it all, who's started for 5 years at home against a Miami team where the quarterback is new to the squad. I know Cam Ward's been there for a while, but he hasn't been on Miami.
Right.
So, yeah, I am certainly worried. I've been saying this for months. I think Florida wins that game. I don't know if they'll have a great season after that, but they seem to get up for this game, like the week 1 game, a lot. Yeah, especially at home.
Well, certainly, yeah. I mean, the fact that it's at home is an awfully difficult part. I think Miami is better. But,
I agree.
And if the game was being played on a neutral site, I would pick Miami. I still might pick Miami. They are a 3-point favorite.
Even if it was like in Gainesville, but in October or something.
Right.
Not the first game of the season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. There's going to be a lot of passion in the Swamp that day. No questions about it. By the way, your boy Cam McCormick, the tight end, is on the list. First season of college football, 2016. He was in the same recruiting class as Jalen Hurts, Nick Bosa, and DK Metcalf.
Dude, those guys are like second contract guys in the league.
That's incredible.
DK Metcalf is a veteran. You know, he's like about to his knees are shot already.
Yeah, without a doubt. So the Gators actually have one more player on this list. When you go on the defensive side, safety Asa Turner is the transfer from Washington, and his first season like Mertz, 2019. And the write-up on Turner, again, this is Stuart Mandel and Max Olson of The Athletic that put this together. Turner was a true freshman starter at Washington during Chris Peterson's final season and started 28 of 43 games during his 5 seasons with the Huskies. He's back for one more, this time in the SEC with the Gators, thanks to an interesting technicality. Turner played in 4 regular season games in 2023 and was able to count it as a redshirt season, even though he returned from injury in time to play in the Pac-12 title game and both playoff games. Yep, that's right, a 7-game redshirt. So, and he says,
just like
don't
how
think
we
we've
grew
ever
up
seen
watching.
that before.
Love that.
Yeah, which gets me. So Florida's got 2 guys on this list, and Nick, Nick Delatorre, who joined us last segment to talk Gators baseball, brought up the fact of you've got to be old and you've got to stay old. That was something that Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland had told him. And it gets me to kind of moving the story a little forward, and I want to get your thoughts, JJ. Do you think we'll get to a point with college football being so lucrative, and now it's going to be lucrative for the athletes that play it? If an athlete does not have an NFL future, if they're good at the college level, but they don't have the traits to play at the NFL level, do you think we could ever get to a point that an athlete can play college football in perpetuity?
Like he's signed for the Hurricanes.
That he could play until he's 34.
Yeah, we could definitely get there because we're getting so far away from it being still related to the college, to them going to college, to them being, quote, student athletes. Like, we're so far away from that I wouldn't be shocked if in 10 years we just have, this is the minor leagues. So we see guys that have played minor league baseball their entire life. You always I think the Braves just called up a guy who looks like Kenny Powers, by the way. They just called him up, and I think he was in the minors for 10 years, and he's just now making his major league debut. There's plenty of dudes like that. So I could see if it becomes that, if, the SEC and the Big Ten break away, they're their own thing, that they're like, dude, this student-athlete stuff is poppycock. Who cares about this?
Well,
we're already sort of at that point. So I hope it never gets to that.
Yeah.
But damn, I wouldn't be shocked by anything at this point.
Well, and it's interesting for the schools that you and I are fans of, because Miami, that if let's say that we've always had a system where college athletes could just stay in college football and not necessarily had their eligibility expire. Like Gino Torretta and Ken Dorsey, they might have been your quarterback for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Danny Warfel might have been Florida's quarterback for 10 years. Maybe Charlie Ward, although he at least had the NBA option to go have that career.
And it depends on the pay, NIL,
right.
Obviously.
But if you're making,
they're always going to have aspiration. Even, like you said, Ken Dorsey, he was a late pick, but he still obviously in his mind had aspirations.
Right.
Like, I can do it in the NFL. But if you have that, hey, you can make $3 million every year.
And once you leave, you can't come back.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not going to make any money there as a 7th rounder. You might get cut. Your career might be over. Then that incentive is definitely enough for somebody to stick around.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks especially. I mean, that's the only position really I could think of where a guy would pass up an opportunity to play in the NFL just because, I don't know, the skill position guys, there's always going to be an opportunity for them. I feel like the quarterbacks, there's barely any spots.
Yeah, the only guys I could think as well, I would agree, if you're really skilled on the perimeter, you're going to go and test your fortunes.
Yeah,
if
you're
NFL.
like 26.
The only thing I can think of is maybe linemen that just don't have the traits. They've got the short arms. Maybe they're 290 pounds, not the 315 that you sort of need to be.
Yeah.
But they're good college players. Like maybe something like that. And again, it gets into an argument of, well, if that's the case, and could you have an offensive lineman who's like 27 going up against a true freshman who's 18? So again, this is an argument for way down the road, but with the way college football is evolving and with the financial stakes, it's hard to just dismiss it as, no, this has no chance of ever happening.
Like, what is the end game with all this stuff? Really, with the people can transfer ad nauseum, we could pay guys, they could stay at the college, even though they're in the 2016 recruiting cycle because of all these, I don't know, what are the rules that allow that kid at Miami to play for so long? There's so many, quote, technicalities now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again,
crazy,
the fact that
man.
Asa Turner had a redshirt season on a game in which he played 7 games, and the fact that Cam Rising, who was in Tom Herman's first full recruiting class at Texas, could still have more eligibility even beyond this season. Like it really is wild, and it's sort of a good test case for maybe a new economic climate in college football.
Why do these coaches even recruit high schoolers anymore?
It's a great point. I mean, that was one thing Denny Thompson was on the forefront with. He told us 3 years ago. He said this COVID thing and the portal is going to really hurt high school quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it has, because it's so hard to get in the door because schools are just basically looking at the portal to solve their issues.
Yeah,
unless
Cam
you're
Ward is
unless you're
gonna
an elite player, unless you're an elite prospect, it's going to be hard for you to get an offer somewhere. If you're
that's
a 2-3
not even
star.
true. I mean, look at Arch Manning. Jeez, the guy hasn't been able to play just because, hey, if you're Miami, you're going to get Cam Ward this year, and then next year, all of a sudden, they're going to be like, all right, we'll try out this sophomore, freshman that's been on our bench. No, they're going to try to regroup with another transfer kid who's a senior from some,
no doubt about it,
from Washington State or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see where it goes, and this is one of those legal arguments that, from a total novice's opinion, it would seem like you'd have a pretty strong legal argument. If you can go and say, look, we've requested feedback from the NFL the last 2 years, once as an underclassman, and then obviously, when you thought your eligibility was going to expire, and he's not a draftable player. They're not going to take him. He has no chance
future
of making a living at that level. So why should he be forced to walk away from an industry that's paying him, let's say it's $500,000. It's probably more if it's a quarterback, but let's just say it's $500,000. That would seem like you'd have a legitimate gripe for relief. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see if we ever get to that point. But again, with the way college football is going, I don't think it can be discounted. We will be back. We're going to get our headlines revved up. That is next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show from the Harold & Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Big play, 35 from the 16. Mark at the line of scrimmage. Takes the snap, turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown, Jaguars! Touchdown, Jaguars! Touchdown, Jaguars!
Home of the Jaguars, 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today. Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Summer starts now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet with our summer sale. It's not sink or swim. We have vehicles for every budget and every need, starting as low as $79.99, and you won't get burnt. We offer 20-year 200,000-mile protection on new and 7-year 100,000-mile protection on used. Plus, we can really cool things off with our 30-day exchange policy. Start the summer off the way you deserve it with our summer sale at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, it's Matt Hays, and summer's here on the First Coast. You know, long days, short sleeves, lazy summer afternoons, and soaring temperatures that can do a number on your AC. But do what I did and plan ahead with an expert AC tune-up from Fenwick Home Services to avoid those costly summer breakdowns. If you've heard me say it once, you've heard it 1,000 times. Hope is not a plan. That's why Fenwick Home Services has you covered 24/7 with same-day service, including maintenance plans, free same-day estimates, and guaranteed repairs. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com.
Matt, eating well can actually taste amazing with Awaken 180.
Exactly what Mike and I have been telling you, Hacker. It's all about discovering flavors that are as good for you as they taste.
I'm now down 70 pounds, and it's only been 3 months. No gym, no meds, just great food and fantastic coaching from Awaken 180.
Woo, baby! I told you so. Awaken 180 has changed the weight loss game. I saw Mike Dempsey drop his 25 pounds in a month, so I want it in. You listeners know my results, but what we haven't shared is a ton of friends and family and listeners have jumped on board too. Their results? 100% success across the board.
Crazy to think there is a program that can work for everyone. But losing 70 pounds in 3 months proves that crazy is not so crazy. If you're listening and ready for fast results, expert coaching, and delicious food, Awaken 180 is the way to go. Head to awaken180weightloss.com and watch the weight melt off, starting with your very first week.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Legendary Florida Gator and 17-year NBA vet Al Horford helped bring the Boston Celtics their 18th NBA title last night, setting a new league record for titles won by a franchise. Al Horford on the finals win.
I can't believe it. I still can't believe it, fella. I mean, we did it. We're here. But I can't believe it. This is just how I pictured it here at the Garden with our fans, everybody together. This is just how I saw it 8 years ago. This is how I saw it 8 years ago. Wick knows about it. Wick knows about the ring 8 years ago.
The Gators College World Series elimination game against Kentucky has been postponed tonight due to inclement weather and will be rescheduled to tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You can hear the game live on 1010 a.m. It's 87 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round!
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. JJ LaSelva, I am Hays Carlyon. Frank Frangie is enjoying his vacation up in Pittsburgh, watching those Pirates play. Again, a reminder, Harrell & Harrell is who you need to call. If you've been hurt, a loved one's been hurt, they're local. I've known them since high school. They're great people. Holt and Julie, that's who you need to call, 251-1111. We certainly appreciate their sponsorship of the studio and of the headlines. We really enjoy our partnership with Harrell & Harrell. Again, 251-1111. JJ, let's dive right in. Jaguar veterans will report to training camp on July 23rd, which means we are exactly 5 weeks from today from the marathon beginning.
And I know you'll be counting down the hours.
I am. I can't wait. 35 days. So
sounds hot.
It will be hot, and it'll be extraordinary. And, I can't wait for it to get here. So that'll be good. The rookies report on the 19th. Veterans in on the 23rd. I would imagine that would mean that you're probably going to see your first padded practice somewhere around July 28th, which seems a little earlier than normal. This must be one of those kind of odd years where everything's moved up a little bit, because it usually seems like training camp starts July 26th, 27th. And then first day in pads is August 1st or 2nd. So it's good. So, JJ, I had a few days shaved off this year, which was good.
You guys are allowed at all these, right?
We'll be allowed at all these,
okay.
Yeah. So certainly, you can't report on specific lineups and stuff like that.
That's always my favorite part, when you guys have to come back
right
from practice and be like, There was this play.
Yeah.
Guy threw it. Guy caught it. Couple people clapped. It was great.
Yes. You've definitely
no
got
formations.
You've got to be good at dancing around it. But you can give general impressions of who looks good and who doesn't. And when they're not in 11 on 11, you can talk about specific players and what they're doing. So we definitely get a ton out of it. It'll be a lot of fun and can't wait. Getting it to the Jaguars' first opponent, the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins running back Devin Achane is going to be lining up more at receiver this year, which, boy, that's dangerous. He is a major X factor in that opener because with his speed, I mean, obviously they don't really need him too much at running back, but when he was healthy last year, JJ, I thought he was sensational.
Dude, he was like the rookie of the year before he got hurt, and their offense seemed like it was unstoppable for the first couple months of the season. He was good at A&M. Ran all over Miami, so I guess I wasn't too surprised, but this is why you don't draft running backs high. They just get hurt all the time.
Well, and that's going to be a challenge for whoever the Jaguars' nickel is, because particularly if it's Savage, who's been more of a safety than a corner, although I will say, interviewing him, he looks more like a corner than a safety, but still, whoever it is, whether it's, Jarian Jones or whoever, boy, that is going to be, if they put Achane out in the slot with that kind of speed, that is, with obviously already dealing with Hill and Waddle, that is going to be, we've talked about it, but for Ryan Nielsen, the new Jaguars defensive coordinator, that's about as tall a task as you can ask for in week one in terms of dealing with all that speed.
Especially McDaniels having all offseason to, draw things up.
Yeah, if they can hold the Dolphins to under 24 in that game, that'll be a
early win.
Yeah, big
moral
boost,
victory.
Yeah, for Ryan Nielsen in that, because that definitely looks like a shootout. Should be a thrilling week one game. Looking at Cleveland, again, the second opponent the Jaguars face this year. Interesting news out of Browns camp. Deshaun Watson, they say, is ahead of schedule in terms of his shoulder injury. But, JJ, I'm kind of done on Deshaun Watson. I'm at the point where until I actually see him play well for a month, I kind of think he's done.
Yeah, he looked washed at times the last couple of years. But they've looked so good without him. So, as a Jags fan, you're like, and who do I want as quarterback? I know Flacco's not there anymore, right?
Yeah, he's with the Colts now.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure who their backup savior would be, but yeah, that is $230 million potentially down the drain, man.
Yeah, they have a great team around him, and maybe he'll get back to playing at a high level, but it's hard to have a lot of confidence.
When you watched him, he just looked slow and old.
Yeah. Well, and again, you always worry about how much does it matter to him? Because if it doesn't matter to you on a scale of 13 out of 10, you're going to get caught pretty quick in this league. And it makes you wonder with Deshaun Watson, how much passion
he's been paid already.
Yeah, does he really have for it? But anyway, it'll be interesting to see if Deshaun Watson is able to have a healthy training camp and if he'll actually start that game against the Jaguars. Cleveland seems to be pretty confident that he is on track to be fine. The NBA Finals concluded. JJ, Boston wins a record 18th title. What do you think you'll remember from this NBA Finals?
I'll remember myself last night being super squeamish watching Derek White lose his front teeth on the court.
That was brutal.
I cannot watch that kind. Anything with the eyeball or the teeth, I'm out. I'm a big baby about that.
I can't watch
stuff.
leg things.
Leg?
When the leg gets shattered.
Who is the guy Ware for Louisville?
Yeah,
I still haven't actually watched that.
Yeah, I haven't either. I can't watch that. The last night, for whatever reason, I could. The White replay I watched a few times and it didn't bother me, but boy, he went face first.
Came right back in the game
and hit a three.
Yeah.
Again, just a testament to Boston's toughness.
Absolutely.
Which I guess I probably won't remember anything about this 3 weeks from now. But if I had to remember something, that's probably what it'll be. It's just Boston's toughness, and again, just they might be the best role player team of all time because they're definitely not. They're very much lacking in the superstardom, wattage when you look at, comparing them to previous championship teams. But staying in the NBA, but moving towards the draft, the Hawks GM, he says he's going to keep the first pick. I guess there's really no other option. Isn't it like the worst draft ever? Who would want the first pick?
I heard that a white guard from Kentucky could potentially be the first overall pick, which I'm loving that. I'm all about that.
That's Reed Shepherd, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I don't follow college basketball. But real quick, back to what you said before. There's two things about this finals that to me were turning points, or not turning points, but could potentially have been. Game 2. There's the push in the back. While the Mavs were coming back in the fourth quarter, they were like down 2. They had a fast break for a layup, and they pushed him in the back. They never called it. Game 3, they're down 3. There's 4 minutes left, and Luka fouls out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, to me, both of those things, we could have had a good series if two of those things go a little bit differently.
Yeah, and if Kyrie Irving had
was alive,
knew how to shoot in Boston. I mean, again, 18 of 53 in 3 games in the Garden. I mean,
missing layups, wide open threes last night.
I mean, that's
terrible.
That's atrocious. But yeah, it's one of those things that congratulations to Boston. I don't know that it'll have a big legacy in terms of this finals. But one thing that might is this College World Series if Florida State and Florida continue their run, JJ. So Florida State's up 7-5 right now on North Carolina. They are in the 8th. Florida State is batting 1 on, 1 out, the runner at first.
What'd you say the score was?
It's 7-5, Florida State.
No lead is safe from what I saw with Florida State's bullpen against Tennessee.
No doubt about it. Oh, yeah.
And Florida, by the way, if you don't know, that game has been delayed till tomorrow, 11 a.m. first pitch.
That's right, against Kentucky. So the Gators will have to win 2 tomorrow to survive. So we will see if it happens. But FSU looks like they're in great shape. It would actually it would be fitting for FSU to win the baseball national championship for a couple reasons. One, it's an absolute disgrace that Mike Martin never got the kiss from the baseball gods to win it all in Omaha. But then coupled with, in the same school year, your football team goes undefeated, 13-0, and doesn't get to play for the national title. So it seems like the sports gods kind of owe FSU one, and they've been so overdue to win this thing for so long. And they're in good shape. I mean, they're in good shape at least for this game. We'll see if they can close it out. Getting it to the U.S. Open fallout, JJ, did you see Bryson DeChambeau taking the trophy around the Tonight Show last night? It was hilarious. So he comes out, and Jimmy Fallon introduces him, and he immediately takes the trophy and goes throughout the band, letting them all touch it.
Love it.
And you can tell Fallon's like, okay, this is nice. He's going to do this for a couple seconds and then come over. Well, then Bryson takes a hard left and goes into the audience and goes all the way up the steps, lets everybody in the aisle touch the trophy, comes back down on the other side. It was fantastic. And
Could you have seen Patrick Cantlay doing that?
Exactly. So it was again Bryson DeChambeau. What a 48 hours for him in terms of elevating his stardom. I mean that again, we said it yesterday, that fan engagement. It's hard not to like a guy when he brings the fans in like that.
And it seems genuine.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you'll get that and you'll be like, all right, I see through this, but not with this dude.
Even if it isn't genuine, I still think it's just cool.
Yeah.
Like it's just cool to see, high-fiving, walking from 13 to 14 and then last night.
the guy that was in the wheelchair. He stopped in the middle of his back nine to sign a guy in a wheelchair's hat.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Absolutely. And that guy means a lot to the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
he was
he's
here at the
always
Players
there.
Championship, so yeah, it really was cool. So Bryson DeChambeau certainly enjoying his victory lap and well-deserved. Rory McIlroy sent out a text message to the world, basically describing his feelings about that. He did congratulate Bryson.
He did say it was the toughest.
Yeah.
Toughest I've had, probably the toughest day I've had in my 17 years as a professional golfer.
I can see it.
Wow.
I mean, because he was so young when he had the gag at Augusta. And that was more of just a final round. That wasn't like at the end. That was more just he didn't play well with a lead
And he's
on
probably
Sunday.
thinking, I'm going to have an opportunity to win this every year.
Yeah, he was like in his early 20s. Now you're in your mid-30s. And the problem that Rory has is he doesn't have to worry about anybody older than him. Like, the guys that are older than him, he is better than. And so it's not like he has to – but you've got these Obergs and – this new crop of player
Hovland.
that is just constantly coming. And so, I still think Rory will win another major before his career is over. But I mean, it is only going to get harder. And so when you blow a chance like that, I can see how it would be the worst day of his professional career. He did say he's going to take some time off,
playing the Scottish.
Yeah, before we head over overseas.
Which I love that they always have the Scottish the week before the British Open, and we get like a lot of Americans and a lot of PGA Tour guys that play in that event. It's a sneaky good event.
It is a sneaky good event. You're absolutely right, and it's morning golf, which I always love.
Yes.
So that'll be a lot of fun. Kyle Porter, who does a great job covering golf, he had an interesting note. So he took the majors this year, the first 3, and he said these were the top 5 players in terms of aggregate score. Now, you had to make the cut in all 3 to qualify. And it's really interesting looking at the results. So Bryson is first at 28 under.
All top 10s.
Yes, 28 under. He was T6 at the Masters, second at the PGA, and then obviously won the U.S. Open. Xander is 23 under, so 5 shots back, the PGA champion. Morikawa is third at 17
under. That one
under.
surprised me.
Me too, because Scheffler is fourth at 16 under, who obviously is far and away having the best overall season. And then you've got Rory at 13 under par. So those are the 5 that have been the most consistent so far. But kind of a surprise, I thought, to see Scheffler fourth on that list.
And one who's not on the list, who's been a big disappointment for me, is Brooks.
Yes.
Like, we thought the guy from the LIV Tour that would come over and win the majors this year would be him. Little did we know that Bryson, his old nemesis, is now the number 1 player from LIV. And like John Rahm, we don't even talk about him anymore. Obviously hurt, but even before that.
And I think Koepka, now I always tend to pick Koepka in majors, but I could see him with DeChambeau winning it, and I think they're friendly, now. I don't think it's like a rivalry.
He tweeted out like a congratulations.
He did. He tweeted congratulations. But I could also see the competitor in him going to Royal Troon and putting up a number on the field.
And being like, listen, I can't have everyone loving Bryson now.
Exactly.
Like, everyone loves Bryson.
Yes, exactly. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait till to Royal Troon.
So many storylines from all of the first 3 majors coming into this one at the end will be pretty badass.
We talked about Frank being up in Pittsburgh for his vacation to watch the Pirates play. Well, he saw a great performance from Paul Skeens last night. This phenom, JJ, just continues to dazzle. 6 innings, 7 Ks, 1 earned run, moves to 4-0 on the season.
Only 1 walk. I was watching the Braves, didn't get to see it, but I watched the highlights this morning. And so the first inning, he got hit kind of hard. And it was the first time he gave up any run in the first inning this year. And I'm just putting myself in Frank's shoes sitting there watching his boy get pounded in the first inning thinking, I came all the way out here to watch him lose. But no, he obviously settled down. He picked off Ellie De La Cruz, who's like the guy on the base paths this year. So just all around really impressive from this dude.
Absolutely. Some big news for the Yankees. Mostly good, but not all. They did lose Anthony Rizzo for 4 to 6 weeks with an arm injury, but he's kind of been struggling, it seems
they'll be
like.
all right without him.
Yeah, but Garrett Cole is ready and will pitch tomorrow.
That's the crazy thing. They have, I don't know if they still have the best record in the league, but they're awfully damn close. I know they dropped 2 or 3 to the Red Sox this weekend, but all that without the best pitcher in baseball over the last few years. So I hate it, but it's good for the MLB when the Yankees are good.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and I'm right with you. But yeah, it's always interesting when the Yankees are in it. Stanley Cup final tonight, JJ. Panthers look to take it home, take the cup tonight. Game 5, South Florida, Edmonton. Are you locked in?
I'm not, but for Pete Prisco and Jessica Blaylock, I hope they win.
We will be locked in at my house. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, I always forget that.
We will be locked in, so we will see what happens. Pat McAfee is not signed on for College Game Day this season. Does that surprise you?
Not really, because he already does a daily show for like 3 hours, and that just would seem like a lot. But I would think like he's getting paid this much money that ESPN wouldn't give him the choice. That he is doing that show. I thought he was the heir apparent to Corso.
Yeah.
But are they having Saban? Is he doing game
that's
day
the thing.
this year?
I think he is. So it makes me wonder if part of it is maybe ESPN's a little tired of the act. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I thought
Or
McAfee,
maybe like that would be one too many people
or
on the
yeah,
desk.
or there's worried about maybe oversaturation with him. You know, I don't know, or maybe it could be McAfee just was like, look, I just don't need to do it anymore. But for whatever reason, it doesn't mean he won't do it this season. But it is interesting that outlets are reporting that he is not signed on for this season, and obviously we're getting very close. So something to monitor.
I am excited to see Saban.
I am too.
So more so than Brady. I think we're going to hear more of him because he's doing the actual games, but I think we're going to get some unfiltered, raw opinion from Saban. He's not a guy who's worried about, a lot of these coaches, we see them, they get in the media, they're still worried about getting that next job.
Right.
So they're not going after players, they're not poo-pooing other coaches. Saban doesn't care about that. I think he's just going to be as honest as he can be, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to it. Getting it to local baseball, keep in mind the walk-off baseball games. You can go watch free baseball at the new walk-off park, Fort Family Park, the Bragan Park. Again, right there, very easy to get to location off of 9B and Gate Parkway, Bay Meadows. So if you're looking to go watch free baseball, they've got excellent baseball over there, got concessions for you, all that fun stuff. So again, if you're looking for something to do, take the kids to, free admission to go watch some great baseball at the park. JJ, I don't know if you're a big Formula One fan. I am not. So
I used to be a really big Formula One
Well, this
fan.
item might appeal to you. So Brad Pitt's movie about Formula One racing will come out June 27th next year.
So who is he in the movie?
I would imagine it's just kind of a movie with it. I would assume it's more like a Days of Thunder thing, where it's more like the Formula One racing is the backdrop of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's, I'm sure, playing a fictional character. I'm assuming he's in the movie, and it's not like something he's directing or something. It seems like it's the movie.
Yeah,
that
it's
he'll
a fictional.
be starring in.
He'll be on a fictional team.
Yeah.
As a former driver returning to the sport.
Okay.
It's described as a landmark for the sport and cinema.
Well, there you go.
It has been filmed in real time during Grand Prix. During Grand Prix this year, they've been on the track, as a fake team.
Wow.
That's pretty damn realistic.
Yeah, there you go. So do they have your money or not?
No one has my money. I haven't been to a movie in theaters since before COVID, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when it's streaming, I'll be watching.
You'll watch it
yeah.
then. All right, sounds good. And we will get you guys out on this musical note. Happy birthday to Sir Paul McCartney, who turns 82 years old today. Paul McCartney.
He looks great.
He does. Absolutely. He's still performing. He has written or co-written 32 songs that topped the Billboard 100 chart. That is just such an incredible number. This is obviously the classic Hey Jude. Beatles, Wings, his solo stuff, just so much great music from Paul McCartney. Hey Jude was released in 1968. It spent a record 9 weeks at number 1. That record held up for 9 years. So one of the most influential and iconic songs in rock. So happy birthday to Paul McCartney. That is going to do it for headlines. We will be back to talk a little Jaguars football when we return. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Living life on the edge of your seat.
Are you kidding me?
Your front row seat for play-by-play.
Break it free, they're not going to catch you.
1010XL.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Mia here, and I've got 2 words for you. Incredible inventory. And it's all at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. I'm talking over 600 vehicles in stock, one location. That's over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 110 pickups. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18K. Plus, now you get 60 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And help from Arlington's Credit for Everyone program. Shop 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or arlingtontoyota.com.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Bold City Heating and Air is here to keep you cool this summer. Anytime, any day, whenever you need fast, reliable air conditioning service. Their friendly technicians have fully stocked work vans, so they can get your AC done on site the same day. Rely on a family-owned Jacksonville-grown company this summer to keep your home cooling system working smarter, not harder. Experience the bold difference. Visit boldcityac.com to schedule your service appointment. boldcityac.com.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots and the first treatment now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
Hacker here coming in hot. I'm so freaking stoked right now I could do cartwheels. Well, maybe not cartwheels yet, but soon, after already shedding a jaw-dropping 70 pounds thanks to the miracle workers at Awaken 180. My doc just told me to forget the scalpel. I was scheduled this month for a procedure for a vein in my leg, but thanks to dropping the 70 pounds, I no longer needed it. He was impressed, to say the least. He hasn't ever seen a transformation like I'm having with Awaken 180 weight loss. In reality, all that extra weight was dragging me down, not just figuratively, but literally. The benefits of losing it have been nothing short of amazing. Yes, a weight loss program that works can actually be done. And most importantly, done easily. If weight's holding you back and you don't think there's a plan you can do, let me tell you, there is. 70 pounds in 3 months, guys. It's doable. So do it online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Frank Frangie. Join Dan Hickett and me for All Things Gators, our podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, with new episodes every Monday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gators Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
Every day is a Big Chief Tire Day at 1010XL. Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Our friends at Big Chief Tire are all about ensuring your safety and peace of mind on the road. Right now, they're offering $50 off a new set of tires so you can finally take care of that tire replacement you have been putting off. Plus, enjoy free tire repairs and replacements for up to 3 years with their protection plan. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment at any one of their 5 locations. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Golf is as popular as it's ever been, and Hidden Hills welcomes all who love this game as much as we do. You'll surely enjoy our Arnold Palmer design, which is nestled in one of the highest elevations in North Florida. Book your tee time today, and you'll be glad you did.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances, that's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Certainly appreciate our friends at Nimnick. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva, Frank Frangie on vacation this week. We're going to get to a Jaguars topic in a second, but JJ, let's give something away.
Yes, I have a family 4-pack of Jumbo Shrimp voucher tickets for any game this season. And one of those games you could go to is Wednesday, the 26th of June. It's 1010XL Day at the Shrimp game.
Wow.
But you can go to any game this season. So be caller number 4 at 641-1010 right now, and I'll hook you up.
That is awesome. Very good. And by the way, in the College World Series, Florida State is, I'd say, blown it open, but, I mean, they certainly have increased the lead. It's 9-5, 4-run lead in the ninth. I know that might give FSU fans a little bit of a callback to the Tennessee game, but Florida State in great position here. They're still batting, actually, in the top of the ninth, but the Noles up 9-5 on North Carolina, and barring another collapse, look like they're going to keep their national championship pursuit going. So we will keep you posted if that wraps before we are off the air. But certainly Florida State looking like they're in great shape. So we started this yesterday with the Jaguars, going through the top players of the team, and we're not looking purely at value because we know Trevor would be one. So we want to take positional value at least somewhat off the table. It is not the end-all, be-all in this. So we went through the top 5. I had Josh Allen 1 because I feel like of all the players on the team, he's playing at the most elite level, and he does certainly play a very premier position. So the combination of those two, I think it's Josh Allen 1. Had Trevor Lawrence 2. I think Trevor Lawrence, the numbers don't tell the full story. Obviously, we've talked about the injuries that he had that were around him. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a big-time year. And again, you have to look at where the Jaguars were when he arrived compared to where they are now, which is certainly a contender for a playoff berth, not a contender for the top pick in the draft. Christian Kirk, I had 3, the talented receiver, Travis Etienne running back 4th, and then Evan Ingram at tight end 5th. So today we're going to go 6 through 10. And again, the purpose of this exercise is just to give us an idea, how deep is this roster? So 6 through 10 is really interesting to me. I look at the hardest player for me to leave out of the top 5 was Trayvon Walker, who we started to see glimpses of it in the second half of last year. Trayvon Walker is going to have a huge year if he stays healthy. He has figured it out. He was drafted with them knowing full well that he was going to need some time to get acclimated to what they were going to ask of him. I think the scheme with Ryan Nielsen is going to suit him way more than Mike Caldwell's scheme. We're not going to see Trayvon Walker dropping into coverage much anymore. It's going to be all about getting after the quarterback. I think Trayvon Walker is going to have an outstanding year. So for me, he's still not top 5. I think he'll be top 5 when we do this next summer. But for me, Trayvon Walker is 6. I've got cornerback Tyson Campbell 7th. I'm not bothered by last season. Again, I think Tyson had an injury-plagued year, tried to play through some things and wasn't his normal self. But I think Tyson Campbell is an excellent corner in this league. Is he top 3? I'm not sure he's top 3 yet. He's still a very young man. He's on his rookie contract. But I do think Tyson Campbell is certainly a top 10 starting cornerback when he is healthy, and I expect him to be, he's healthy now, so you have to hope that continues. So for me, it's Trayvon 6, Tyson Campbell 7. I'm going to stay with the defense at 8. I've got Foye Oluokun. I just don't think you can put him any lower. He's not necessarily a flashy player, but he is just so dependable and reliant and smart. And Foye has done a better job of making the bigger plays, but he has just settled in as the communication leader of that defense. So for me, Oluwakan 8. I'm going to go with a newcomer here at 9. I think Eric Armstead deserves to be in the top 10 based on his career, based on the importance of his position, and based on how I think the Jaguars are going to utilize his skill set and how it's going to fit here. So I've got Eric Armstead 9th. I think he's going to have a huge year. I'm not expecting Calais Campbell 2017 numbers, but I do think that Eric Armstead, again, we have to worry about the health. He didn't do much in the offseason program. He has a knee that he's working through, but Doug Peterson said is everything wrapped up last week that he expects Eric Armstead to be fully healthy for training camp. So looking forward to watching Eric Armstead and seeing the impact that he can make for this defense. And I'm going to round out my top 10 going back to the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to go receiver Gabe Davis at 10. Again, I think it's undersold, the production that he's had. Obviously, Stephon Diggs got the headlines at the receiver position in Buffalo. We know Josh Allen is a megastar. But for me, for Gabe Davis to be 25 years old and to already have 33 receiving touchdowns at the NFL level, if you count his playoff games, which I don't know why you wouldn't, that's incredible for a guy that really can probably walk in and out of every airport in this country and no one's going to recognize him. I think that's going to change. I think Gabe Davis is going to have a really good career here with the Jaguars. Again, you're talking about somebody who's going to be on their year 25 season, 26, 27, the prime of his career, and has already shown such an ability to make the explosive play happen through the air. So for me, that's my top 10. You've got it now. Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, Evan Ingram, Trayvon Walker, Tyson Campbell, Foye Oluwakan, Eric Armstead, and Gabe Davis. JJ, you like it or don't like
I do like it. I have a little – I had Tyson obviously in my top 5, so he wouldn't be in this. So I have Etienne taking his place at 6. Trayvon, for me, 7. They're irreplaceable. Like you said, I think at the end of the season, we're going to be talking about Trayvon as like a solid in the top 5 guy for the Jags. I have Cisco 8, Foye 9.
Wow, Cisco 8. Okay.
Yeah, and then this one for me, Foye. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's like a superstar, great linebacker, in the NFL. But he's always there. He's super reliable. He's got to be on this list. Number 10, I put Armstead in there, but I was really close to taking who no one likes. But I think he should be Cam Robinson.
Yeah.
To me, is like a maybe 10B. But I'll go with Eric Armstead as 10A right now.
No, you can certainly make an argument for Cam Robinson. I mean, he's played good football here. We've talked about the lack of edge that offensive line has at times.
When he's not there, it's more noticeable.
It's more noticeable. He obviously plays a tremendously important position at left tackle. So I think you can certainly make an argument for Cam Robinson. I didn't put him in the top 10 because just of the lack of availability between suspension and injury. But, yeah, look, if you're going to tell me Cam Robinson is going to give them 17 starts this year at left tackle, my guess is he would be in the top 10 in terms of top Jaguars when you evaluate their production. So, no, I definitely understand that call. And it's fun, and it illustrates there's only going to be 53 guys on the team once they cut it after training camp. Well, we've given you a 10 that I think is pretty solid. I mean, JJ, don't you feel like that 10 compares pretty well to the other teams in the league?
Like what you said earlier, though, is there's not that, like, shining light at 1 and 2. But, pretty deep. I would put that up there with most teams in the league, depth-wise. But, just missing that superstar, which we could get. The ceiling with Trevor is super high. So, I think depth-wise the Jags are pretty up there with most of the good teams in the league.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do think that they've assembled a really strong roster in terms of not having a tremendous lack of holes. And again, you just hope that some of these guys that we're mentioning and that we're going to mention in the days to come, again, we're going to go 5 more tomorrow, 5 more on Thursday, and 5 more on Friday to give you, in our opinion, the top 25 Jaguars on this roster. Again, we're not including rookies. It's just not fair. So the 25 guys on this team that have at least played some level of football at this level, whether it was for the Jaguars or as we've included the free agent arrivals this season. All right, we've got one more segment to go on the Frangie Show. We are going to wrap it up, give you some final thoughts, NBA Finals, College World Series, and a little bit of Jaguars. That's up next on the Frangie Show. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The Celtics win their 18th NBA championship Monday night as they take Game 5 against Dallas 106-88. Jaylen Brown was the series MVP. Jason Tatum 31 points and 11 assists. The Celtics have now won more championships than any team in NBA history as they surpass the Los Angeles Lakers, and they're the betting favorite to win it again next season. The Celtics opening up at plus 300 to repeat as champs. The Denver Nuggets are at plus 750. The Minnesota Timberwolves plus 850. Dallas is at plus 900. Milwaukee Bucks plus 1,000. Oklahoma City also plus 1,000. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
AC Hotline, how can I help?
Help! Our AC isn't working, and my husband's pouring ice cubes down his pants.
Wow, okay, well, we can help with the AC issue.
Please. I'm afraid he's going to damage something.
Okay, I'm going to connect you with the Duck.
The Doc?
No, the Duck. Duck Air Conditioning. Jacksonville area's AC experts.
Okay, tell them to hurry.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Air Conditioning. Service, repairs, new installations, commercial or residential. Trust the Duck. DuckDuckAC.com.
This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold & Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold & Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Save money while beautifying your home with Renewal by Andersen with energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Their exclusive Fibrex product is chic, tough, easy to maintain, and twice as strong as vinyl. Right now, buy one window or patio door and get one 40% off. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. But restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are mosquitoes turning your outdoor fun into a full contact sport? It's time to call in Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, they are the MVPs of mosquito elimination. Call Kingfish Pest Control today and get an unbeatable 50% off your first treatment. That's right, sign up for a full season of lockdown coverage and get 50% off your first treatment. Don't let mosquitoes steal your home field advantage. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
It's time to elevate your game night. Head to Best Bet, your premier destination for poker, card games, and hospitality. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, we have a seat ready for you. Whether you're a seasoned poker player or just starting out, we have you covered with poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And it's not just poker. With delicious dining, lively bars, and big screen events, there's something for everyone at Best Bet. Visit BestBetJax.com to learn more. That's BestBetJax.com and ante up for fun.
Hi, I'm David Lane, your average everyday Joe. I'm 5 months out of my back surgery with Southeast Orthopedic, and I'm doing great. Thanks to Dr. Herford and his staff at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and summer fun. That means it can be any time, whenever there's warm weather out, to go enjoy the off-roads with a Honda ride. Now, this is a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler.
That's right. Honda's got a great line of two-wheel products, and, of course, their side-by-sides and ATVs, which are legendary and a ton of fun to get out with your family and friends.
I tell everybody, you can pretty much load up and go anywhere and find fun with one of those.
Absolutely.
Honda, with their beautiful off-road lineup, two wheels and four wheels. Check them out on the showroom floor, Atlantic near Regency, or online, cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, it's been a fun Frangie show today. JJ LaSelva, I am Hays Carlyon. Frank is up vacationing in Pittsburgh. The College World Series has been fantastic today for FSU. They're looking to close it up. 9-5 lead over North Carolina. The Tar Heels bat in the bottom of the ninth. They do have one on, but there is one out. So Florida State holding a 4-run lead. We'll keep you posted. It looks like that game is going to end after we go off the air, but Hacker After Dark is up next, and Hacker will certainly keep you updated on what's going on. We also talked to Nick Delatorre about the Gators. They're not going to play tonight. They will play tomorrow at 11 a.m., and if they win, they'll play later that night. So a possible doubleheader tomorrow for the Gators in Omaha. And we talked about the NBA Finals. Congratulations to the Celtics. But, JJ, not probably a champion that we're really going to remember a decade from now.
Unless they win a couple.
Right.
You know, we'll remember it just because it's the first Celtics title in 15-plus years, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is the Celtics, but it just feels like
I won't remember
it's not
this
their
series.
fault. But and there weren't any real epic moments.
Yeah, I won't remember the series much. You know, but this team, I don't think they're done. Obviously, they are about to sign these two guys for like a bazillion years. So, yeah, they're not done in the East. We'll see them again next year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, it's been fun, and we will be back tomorrow to talk all sorts of Gators. We're going to do some college football tomorrow. And certainly talk a lot of NFL as well as we get closer, a month away, 5 weeks away from Jaguars training camp opening. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for listening to The Frangie Show. For JJ LaSelva, the vacationing Frank Frangie, I am Hays Carlyon. Hacker After Dark is up next. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.